Hello, Annabel here. This is day 8 of my MetaPWR Adventure. Thank you if you have watched all 8 videos, or 9 actually, if you include the pre-video video. Or even if you're just skipping through. I don't really expect anyone to watch every day. I'm just sort of doing it for the discipline of it and I guess to track my progress over time. Some days there might be really cool things to talk about, other days might be fairly uninteresting. But really it's been one full week on the MetaPWR products. So, I think it would be fair to say that in general terms, I feel like I can feel some changes in my skin. Like my skin feels pretty shiny. I think I look a bit glowy. My skin I know is usually pretty good, so I'm not saying it's dramatic, but I can feel the difference just in the softness of my skin. I feel I've definitely got a bit more energy in general terms. My body just feels a bit looser. I did go to the chiropractor this morning, but even without that, it's certainly not pain-free, but it feels like it might be on the improve. And I do feel like my brain is a bit clearer. So that would be the main things I've noticed so far. I have been taking photos and I'm just putting in a little document for now. I'm putting up daily just photos of my face on the Instagram account, which is metabolic.adventure. I've got one of those little story things. More so that at the end I can just click through and sort of see the progress. And I definitely think I've lost a little bit of inflammation or fluid probably in the face. I probably look a little bit clearer. It's only been a week though. So I want to manage expectations because everyone responds to these things differently. And like I've said a couple of times, we're all starting from different starting places. And so I'm starting from a fairly healthy spot. I already eat an anti-inflammatory diet. I do move. I'm not a high exerciser, but I move. I eat fairly clean. I don't really drink much alcohol. My sleep generally is pretty good. So I'm starting from a fairly decent bar. I do have hypothyroidism. I do have Hashimoto's. My thyroid, I'm still waiting to talk to my doctor to find out the blood test results I had last week. They had been a bit funny before that, so I'm hoping they might be better. But I know that's also going to be a good yardstick to compare maybe in 6 weeks' time. I definitely have weight to lose for sure, and aspects of my metabolic health that when I look at all the different things that are covered by metabolic health, I'd love to see improvement in, and many of which are symptoms of an underactive thyroid as well. So I'm definitely going to be keen to see. But I've seen in some groups, for some fairly dramatic changes quite quickly. So I also want to be careful personally that I don't get caught up in this seeing it as a diet or some kind of weight loss quick fix. I'm as susceptible to that as you probably may be, or maybe you're not. But after spending decades dieting and very body conscious and focused, I've done a lot of work over the last few years to not be like that. But it's still there, it still works. So, for example, like I am taking those daily photos. I did take photos basically in a bikini or underwear at the beginning, and I did again this morning, and I will do that each week. I may or may not ever show anybody those, I don't know. I took measurements. I weighed myself on day 1 and I took body measurements on day 1. I won't do that again until day 30. That's what I promote in my Kickstart program. I also, I don't want to get caught up in I lost a pound, or a kilo or a few hundred grams, and I gained it back, and, that seesawing that can happen very regularly. I don't want to get caught up in that. So I think a month is a pretty good time. And as I've said a couple of times, I'm committed to this program for 3 months in my own mind. So, because I do think that it needs to take a fairly, a longer period of time to see how that really impacts my body, my cells, my energy, my joints, my brain function, all those different things. So having said all of that, my little recap for the last 24 hours, and I'm going to say it is helpful. I'm making notes in my little journal that I really designed for my Kickstart program that starts on Monday. So if you happen to be watching this and you want to join the Kickstart program, doors close tomorrow night. That's Friday night. And it's all about reducing, this is not about MetaPWR. My Kickstart program is about reducing inflammatory foods. It's about mindset. So we basically follow a paleo diet. We work on mindset. And those things on their own can make a massive difference to how we feel. Anyway, that's an aside. So since I spoke to you about 24 hours ago, last night, I actually came up with an idea, because often while I'm cooking dinner, that's when I snack. I'll snack on nuts, or I'll snack on what I'm cooking, or I'll, find some chips, or I'll find something to snack on. So I decided to chew a piece of the MetaPWR gum while I was cooking dinner, and that was quite helpful because there's something else in my mouth, so I couldn't snack while I was cooking. So that was good. So I've got to remember that trick. Thought that might help you. I didn't have as good a sleep last night as perhaps the night before. Tossed and turned a bit. I think, I don't know, but I didn't wake up to go to the toilet, so that was good. I went to the chiropractor first thing this morning. I've been going more regularly than I normally do after my back injury, which is probably now 7 or 8 weeks ago. And I've got to say, it's usually painful because he gets into all the trigger points, but it wasn't as excruciatingly painful as it was 2 weeks ago. So I've got no idea if MetaPWR's had any influence on that. I guess I'll wait. Again, some of these things need to be tracked over more than a week. He did say that my quadricep muscle in my right hand side, which is always extraordinarily tight and therefore painful, wasn't as tight. So, that's good. This morning, I've kind of followed the same routine. I've had the advantage about 9 o'clock, probably about an hour later had breakfast. I actually made sure I've had a proper lunch today. I actually cooked up like a steak sandwich steak and had that. I did find myself picking it. I was had a couple of medjool dates and some handfuls of, roasted almonds while I was cooking that. So probably should have got out the gum. I'm also mindful, I've got my period yesterday. I do tend to be a bit more snacky and sweet snacky, those days. I wouldn't say I've had a wildly productive couple of days. I often find actually in the week that my podcast doesn't come out, like I put out a podcast every second Thursday, and the week it comes out, I'm much more productive because I'm like, right, I've got to edit, I've got to write, I've got to schedule, and then the off week, like last year I was writing my book. This year, I just tend to not have as much structure. So I think that's why I've been a bit unproductive the last couple of days. The other thing I wanted to tell you about that I'm going to talk about in my Kickstart group too is I came across this idea of temporary tattoos. Now, I don't know. I know some of you watching these know me pretty well and others don't really. Maybe you have never met me. I'm not really a tattoo person. Pretty conservative really, but I am a very big words person, and if I was to ever get a tattoo, it would be a word, but I wouldn't want to be committed to one word on my body for the rest of my life. But I came across this idea. I follow Whole30, which is the program I did when I first went paleo, and they had this idea, they were selling these little tiny temporary tattoos that were like a little symbol of, I don't quite know what they meant. You could kind of stick it on your hand and just as a reminder, like I'm doing this program, or I'm wanting to say my affirmations, or some sort of visual cue or reminder that you're either trying to develop a new habit, or just as a reminder that you're wanting to take action on something. And I thought, I kind of like that idea. And then I came across this business called Easy Tats, I think it is, .com.au. And they have a whole lot of word tattoos. So I bought a sheet. I should have brought it in with me. I might do a separate video somewhere else on it. I bought myself a sheet that was just covered in lots of different kind of inspirational words. And I've been using them now for a couple of weeks. And I've got to say, it's kind of fun because each tattoo lasts kind of a week or two. And so, obviously you can choose whatever you want, but I thought I like the idea, particularly when making some new changes, because You know, because words can be inspirational, and words can bring life, and words can motivate, and words can inspire, and words can do all these things. So I have had a few different words. I've been putting them on my arm. I'm going to show you this morning's. Oh, obviously, I only put this one on fresh this morning. Can you? Oh, it's backwards, but it says adventure. That was just one of the words that was on the sheet. I've actually ordered some specific words, like you could actually. I got back in after I bought my first lot and having fun with it, and realised that they do custom made ones. So I've gone in and a lot like my word of the year I've put in, and words that I use often to inspire myself I've put in, and I'm like, oh, this is going to be fun. So if you think that idea sounds fun to you, then pretty sure it's easytat.com.au. I'm in Australia. It's an Australian business. It's like a vegan natural product. Like, it's tiny. You can put them anywhere. I've just put it here. I have my watch on my right hand, so I'm often looking at my right arm. And this one says adventure. And I thought, well, I'm on this metabolic adventure. So that's going to be my word for as long as this one lasts, a week or two, just as a reminder to see this as an adventure, not as anything else. But this is just a bit of an experiment. It's a bit of a trial. It's a bit of an adventure to see what happens with my metabolism. So there you go. Groundbreaking news. Annabel has a tattoo. So anyway, I'll see you tomorrow for day 9.